All righty now. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I have with me one of my new friends. I'm so excited about her being here today because she believes in just one of the things that I've been doing for so many years, and that's affirmation. So we have April B., the Affirmation Activator, with us today. I'm excited about you being here and all that you are going to share today with us and all of our attendees. So thank you so much, April, for being here. And if you could just give our audience a little bit of information about yourself and how you became the Affirmation Activator.
Yes. Well, first off, Sharon, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited about this. So happy we crossed paths. Once I realized that we were, in the same wheelhouse of believing in the power of affirmations, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. So, so I'm April B. Also known, like Sharon said, as the Affirmation Activator. I help people transform their lives through the power of positive affirmations. And it was when I was in a very dark place in my life years ago that, I'm a very private person too. I don't talk to many people, but I knew I needed something. I needed something to really, really help me move forward and gain my peace and clarity and things like that. And I started with one statement, which was, I am enough, right? That's the statement I started with, I am enough. But what I realized, though, was that the more that I said I am enough, I did not feel like I was enough. I still felt crappy. Okay. And that's when I realized that, okay, you have these positive statements, which, the brain recognizes them as fact when we use them, but you also got to have some sort of action with that. So I've developed a formula that allows people to take affirmations that I create for them and couple them with action to lead to manifestation of anything you want. And that could be, more business growth, better finances, which is what I know we're going to talk about today, better relationships, so much more. So that's kind of how I got into it. And I've been passionate about it ever since.
Great. So, yes, I'm glad you brought that up. We are going to talk about affirmations and finances and how we can manifest our future and create that financial legacy through our affirmations. And so, April, can you just share with us, what's some affirmations that you do on a regular basis before we do that deep dive into the financial part? Just hear about some of the successes that you've had with it, because you mentioned how you got there, how you started doing this. So just tell us about some of your success.
Yes. So first, some of the affirmations that I use, I'm also a firm believer in not to overload yourself. So I even tell my clients, maybe focus on at least one per 30 days. Give yourself some time to really work that affirmation into your life. A few affirmations that I use constantly. I give myself the care and attention that I deserve. That is a huge one for me because there's so many varieties of self-care that you can do that you don't even think about. We think about the physical, the massages, the mani-pedis, but what about your emotional self-care? What about your social self-care? So that's a big one for me. Another one that I use a lot is my self-love is worth making time for. As an entrepreneur, as a career woman, as a parent, a boy mom at that, I have to make sure that I'm taking that time for me. So those are the two major ones. And obviously, I'm grabbing some, from here and there whenever I need to just rejuvenate and replenish the spirit, or I'm trying to manifest different things. But to answer your other question, I've been able to manifest so much through the power of affirmations. It's crazy. I mean, even from a career standpoint, when I started, from working in corporate America right after college, and then now I'm in a leadership space in corporate America. I have a team. I'm working in the compliance and ethics space. I've been able to manifest that. My business, which is growing every day. I have an MBA in entrepreneurship, but for years I just kind of sat on it, but through affirmations and the clarity of what they can do, I've been able to manifest my business and it's growing. Better relationships, better friendships, like meeting Sharon, using affirmations like I will build my network strategically. Those types of things are what really helps me manifest so many things in my life to this day.
So you mentioned that you are an entrepreneur, just like me, both of us building our business, having a full-time job and building our business. Tell me more, or tell our audience more about your business and what you do, because it's all connected to the affirmation.
Yes. So the name of my business is Me, Myself, and Family. So I am an online education center right here in Cleveland. I'm located in Cleveland, Ohio, but the business is online. And at the core of that is affirmations. So what I do is I help people create their own affirmations first, because we know we can Google thousands of affirmations. We see affirmations everywhere. We hear them. We hear people speak them. But in order for affirmations to truly be effective, they have to be tailored to you. We have to move away from the stock affirmations, those generic affirmations, and really start to create affirmations for our own situations. The negative self-talk we have, not being able to sleep at night, whatever those struggle areas are, that's where we need to start to look at creating affirmations, because those are the things we want to develop and improve. So that's what I help do. I do that as a group coach. I do that as a one-on-one coach, different courses, individual client sessions, you name it. But it's all to really help people not only get clear on what they're trying to manifest in their life, but also figuring out what the action plans need to be, which is going to lead you to that manifestation. So hopefully I answered your question.
Yes. So April said her business is Me, Myself, and Family. And tell us now, I'm going to ask you again before we get off, so don't let me forget, but tell us how people can get in touch with you in case they would want to know more about you and learn more about your business and work on themselves to get those, with the affirmations.
Yes, so I'm on all social medias. Instagram is April B _affirmations. And I need to streamline these social media handles so that they're all the same. You can reach me on Instagram. You can reach me on Facebook, April B. I also have a Facebook group, Affirmation Nation. So you can also search that. Or you can send me an email. You can send me an email at info@me-myself-family.com.
Great. So let's talk a little bit more about with the affirmations, because like you mentioned, there are generic affirmations that people kind of Google and people tell you about affirmations. When you start talking to people about affirmations, what do you suggest? Like, I will share one of my affirmations that I've been doing for years. So my affirmation is, today is the best day of all days. I'm so excited because I'm going to have such a wonderful day. I truly affirm and believe that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Now, that's my affirmation that I created. And then after I hear people say things, they're like, maybe, they're saying, make your affirmation short. And so I was like, well, is my affirmation too long? But tell me what you say. Like, what do you recommend when people are starting off to make affirmations?
Yeah, so I say if you're starting off from scratch, learning about affirmations, wanting to create them, I would keep them shorter just because, they're easier to remember. And when we think about these statements and how they work, the shorter they are, then you're more encouraged to keep up with them, to repeat them, to practice them. I also tell people to create a routine, like a practice routine. So maybe you say your affirmations, every morning before you, get ready for the day. Maybe you say them as part of a nighttime routine. I'm real big on nighttime hygiene routines, right? You can add that to like your nighttime routine, or you can say, I'm going to say them in the morning and at night. So Figure out a routine of when you want to practice these affirmations. And I'll also say too, even though you may just be starting with the affirmations, really think about areas that you are struggling with, right? Maybe that's relationships, maybe that's boundaries, maybe that's health and fitness, maybe it's self-care, whatever that area is that kind of keeps you up at night. Maybe your job or your career, you want a better one. Maybe it's, a growing business, your first-time entrepreneur, whatever it is. Create affirmations for those areas. It's easy for us to affirm what's already working. I can say I love my career 50 million times a day because I do.
Right.
But what about those areas that we really don't want to talk about or touch or think about because it may hurt, it may be a little painful, uncomfortable. So that's where I would say start really thinking about affirmations for those areas to start to elevate those areas.
Right, right. So let's talk about connecting these affirmations to our finances, right? Because as entrepreneurs, we're entrepreneurs not just because we love what we do, but because we also want to build a business. And that means that we're building our financial, establish our financial legacy. So it can be not only for us, but for our family and future generations. So if I want to start doing affirmations that connect with that, what would be the first thing that you would suggest that I would do?
I would say if you're looking to connect affirmations to your finances, right? Really start to think about where you need to improve first. If you were in the best financial state that you wanted to be, what would you need to work on first? Is that your credit? Is that your debt? Is that financial goals? Is it budgeting? And start creating affirmations there. So if you are someone who is looking to get out of debt, right? You can start with the affirmation, today my debt is paid off. Or just my debt is paid off. You can say, right, and keep it in positive, present tense, because you have to speak the affirmations as if right now, today, it's already done. So think about the areas that you want to work on and create those affirmations centered around those areas, but then start to think about, okay, how do I do that? So if the affirmation is my debt is paid off, right? What do I need to do to pay this debt off? So start to create your plan. That's where the action comes in. And one by one, check those things off. That way, when you say my debt is paid off, you can say it with conviction and excitement. My debt is paid off because you're working towards that.
Right, right. So something I read today talked about psychological battles. And it was saying how people, they're hesitant to do certain things because they have that psychological battle of when they might be trying to do something new or unfamiliar, then, they are fearful that it might fail, or they just don't know what the outcome could be. So they have that fear as well. How do you help people when they might come and say, yeah, I've heard that, but I don't know how that really works? Like, how do you help people with that?
So it really does start with the mindset, right? Because we have a choice. We can either stay where we are or work to move forward, right? So the first thing I look for is people who, even if they're a little fearful, they're going to trust the process. They're going to trust the process, and they're also going to take the steps that they need to take or that we identify to push them along a little bit. But a lot of the psychology does go back to the self-affirmation theory. There's data, there's science behind, affirmations and how they can change your mindset. When we find ourselves in compromising situations, something compromises our peace, our happiness, we automatically go into defense mode, right? Sometimes that defense mode can be what we're talking about here, fear, or maybe a lack of confidence. But when we replace that with things like affirmations, positive words, positive speaking, That defense now allows us to move in the positive way versus staying stagnant. So I hope that answered your question, Sharon, because I feel like I just went all over the place with that one.
No, you did a great job.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
you did a great job. So I'm gonna use myself as an example, and so we can like give an example to our attendees on walking through the process. And also, those of you that are listening, just want to remind you who we have here. My guest today is April B., the Affirmation Activator. And she is talking about how we can grow our finances, grow to be better people through affirmations. And as she mentioned, first, you create your affirmations, and then you also have to have that mindset that you are going to achieve what you believe. I think it's about getting past that imposter syndrome that you may think about when you people say affirmations, because sometimes people don't believe that what they speak can be manifested into existence as long as they truly believe it within themselves and have that mindset. So, April, I'm gonna let you go ahead and just put myself out there and say what I want for myself in the next 12 months is to have $100,000 in my bank account that is generated from my business. So that is my goal. Yes, ma'am. So that is my goal. and I don't want that just to be the revenue. I want that to be my profit. So I'm stepping out there big on faith. But so what would you suggest? What would be the first thing that I need to do in order to how to get that to be manifested?
Yes. So first I would add it to your routine, right? Your practice routine every morning, every night. When you feel like you're getting a little discouraged, like it's not going to happen. Oh, I can't buy this or I can't do that or whatever it is. Go right into that affirmation. Right into the affirmation of I have $100,000 in my account. Leave it there. What I will also say is start getting clear on what that looks like and how you will achieve that, right? So is it a monthly goal that needs to be met to get to that point? Is it converted into, clients or transactions? What does that look like, right? And then just make sure it's that those goals are in place, right? So if it, what is that? If it's $1,000 a month and a couple months or whatever that is, just make sure you write those down as goals. I'm a big believer in writing out your goals. Even if you do vision boards, I tell people still write them out somewhere. And when that way, so when you're looking at those goals, you can see whether or not you're on target, you're ahead, or you're a little behind. You can start to tweak those things to still get you there. I would also say, outside of practicing and rehearsing them, and this is where a lot of my coaching comes in, take it up a notch with that practice. Do some journaling, right? You can write the affirmation multiple times. Just write it. You can even do some mental imagery when you're journaling. What does life look like when you get that 100K? How does that feel? Where are you traveling? Are you, what does that look like? You can journal. Right. Do some meditating, maybe, meditate on that affirmation. You can also spend some time doing some reflection on, just situations that have happened, what has worked, some gratitude practice. So you're elevating the practice of that affirmation. You have your action plan in place. So now you're off to the races to manifest that 100K.
Okay, all right. Well, I would like some of our attendees to type into the chat, give your feedback on, what you would do. What would you want to know about? Tell us what your affirmations are, and let's see how April can help you to navigate and put in place just a quick strategy, give you some quick tips on how you can move forward and manifest your goals and desires through affirmation. So there's something else that I had thought about today that I wanted to ask you about. And we've been in this pandemic state almost 3 years now. Like, it's
Yep.
been wow. And people, they're talking about the depression that people are having. Have you seen a change in what people are saying for their affirmations different now from when before the pandemic?
That's a good question, Sharon. It's almost as if I can't even remember if prior to the pandemic, people were really practicing affirmations. I know they were, but I don't recall seeing them practiced or hearing about them nowhere near as much as now. I feel like the pandemic really gave us time to think, to first sit down, sit down
Right.
and really think about where we are and where we want to be. And, the mental health impact of the pandemic and things like that. People were thirsty for some positivity, some mindset shifting. So I do feel like affirmations are much more popular. And I hate to use the word popular because I don't think it's a fad. I do believe that the practice of them are here to stay. But you do hear more about, on so many different platforms, even if it's just people who will come on and just, rehearse a list of them. You just see a bigger effort with people trying to make sure they stay in that positive mindset. Because the pandemic showed us that if you had to have some mental strength to get through that. If you were a parent homeschooling the kids, we all parents were in the same boat for maybe that the end of that one school year. But it just told us that we needed to do better with our mental health, and affirmations are just that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm trying to think what else can we share, because it's so much, and I don't want to give away everything. That I want people to be able to come to you and tell you, and get your assistance, because I know affirmations are powerful. I know the vision boards are powerful. I've done them myself, not only with with the affirmations, but creating those vision boards so you can physically see those goals that you want, and then all of it manifesting together. So would you recommend that people write out their affirmations and put them somewhere where they can just see them on a regular basis?
Yeah, absolutely. You can even, I wish I could show it, but I can't show it. I have an 8x10 right now on my wall that says, I create and maintain healthy boundaries. It is an affirmation that I have to remind myself of often. So it is always, on my wall. When you do that, that is really a form of space self-care. A lot of people don't know about that space self-care, but creating a positive environment, right? Whether it's a work environment, or even just a space in your home is very helpful. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So and I do that. That's why I wanted to ask that as well. My granddaughter was like, "Why do you have all these stickies on your wall?" I was like, "Because they are my scriptures, my quotes, my affirmations. So anytime I want to look over at it, I can see it, and it's right there for me." So tell our attendees, tell everybody about what you're doing now, because I know you have a Facebook group that you created, and you're doing some great things through that. So tell everybody about what you're doing.
Yes. So I have a Facebook group. It's called Affirmation Nation. So if you search Affirmation Nation, it should pop up. It has like a picture, a little pinkish picture. And join the group. I'm going to be doing a live Facebook Live event next Tuesday, titled Affirmations for Overcoming Heartbreak. So if you are someone who's maybe dealt with a breakup, a divorce, a loss of a friendship or any other kind of relationship, and you're trying to move forward, you're trying to heal, whether that was yesterday or 5 years ago, right? And maybe you're still trying to heal and work through some of the trauma. Check out the live event. It is free. You just have to be a member of the group. So I have that coming up next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. As well as I would like to offer the audience, if someone is interested in creating their own affirmations, I do free affirmation checkup calls where we talk about that one area that maybe is keeping you up at night, and I create an affirmation just for you to kind of start you off on the practice towards the direction of manifesting that one thing that you're trying to remove or eliminate. And that could just be negative self-talk, self-doubt, confidence. A lot of us really do struggle with some confidence, which is very important, in your career and business, even in your parenting. You have to parent with some confidence and some surety. So yeah, so you can, even reach out and we can schedule, you can schedule a checkup call, and they're 30 minutes, so I can help you create some affirmations too.
So tell everybody again how they can get in touch with you.
Yes. So this is Facebook. So you can send me a message. April B, although I hear there are a lot of April Bs, so that may be kind of rough. Me, myself, and family, the little ampersand, and family is another way if you're looking for Facebook, or you can shoot me an email, info@me-myself-family.com. And if you're on Instagram, I'm April B, all one word, APRILBEE _affirmations with an S. That's
all right,
a lot.
all right. This as it shows right here on the screen, like with your name, April B _affirmations on Instagram. So yes, many ways to contact her. If you are on Clubhouse, it is me, myself, and family. It's her room on Clubhouse, and they're doing some great things. So every Friday, I believe you are doing entrepreneur affirmations. Is that correct? Did I get the title correct? Yes, I love it. I love it.
Affirmations for Entrepreneurs. It's every Friday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
Yes. So even if you're not a business owner, you can, or if you're thinking about starting a business, if you're on Clubhouse, then you should be listening to April. And you have a co-moderator, don't you, for that one?
Cheryl Mays. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so the two of them are awesome. They're doing some great things, and what they're saying to put in place, I'm doing that, April. I'm doing that. I love listening to you all on the Fridays that I can jump in and listen and everything. So I'm a work on my affirmation and all of the tips that you just gave, so I can get to that $100,000 in my bank account from my business. It's like I can get to 100,000 probably borrowing the money or whatever. So I want it to be generated from my business, because that shows that my business is working for me, and not me just constantly working for my business. So I definitely am going to put those things in place. Now, tell me, if you have children, how would you recommend starting them with affirmations?
Yes, I'm happy you asked that, Sharon, because I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. I have two boys. They're 8 and 15. They have their affirmations. They even have affirmations. And they're very simple affirmations. So every morning, my 15-year-old, he's a bus rider because he's kind of far away. But the youngest one, I drive him to school. But every morning, it's I am smart, I am creative, I learn something new every day. So they're used to saying these things now every morning. And now that they're used to the routine, we talk about them a little bit, So with my youngest, I'm like, how important is it to learn something new every day? And he gives me his opinions on that. So even when they come home, I'll ask, what did you learn today? So, it's kind of bringing it full circle, but the younger we can start our children off with understanding how to speak life into themselves and how
Mm-hmm.
to work through those discouraging times where they may not feel the best, right? The better. Because I feel like, as far as I can remember, I wasn't raised that way. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it was more of a reactive approach. This is a more proactive approach. So the earlier we can teach our kids how to be proactive, the better.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, and so did you start off with like saying affirmations over them, or was it just you just started teaching them to say their own affirmations?
So, I mean, I've always prayed over my babies, always.
Mm-hmm.
When they're sleeping, I'm praying over them, right? I'll go in the room,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I lay hands,
Right.
okay? Um,
Gotta do
but
that.
one,
Gotta do that.
you have to do that. You have to.
Yeah.
Now that they're older, though, and they are going through their own experiences, although I still pray over them and I have my affirmations, that I say to myself for them. I am a wonderful mother. I trust my
Mm-hmm.
decision making, those type of things. I still want them to learn how to do this for themselves.
Right.
They hate when we have the conversations of, in case I'm not here tomorrow, which we have these conversations. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to have the tools to be able to be fully functional. And one of the things is being able to speak positivity into yourself. They have their experiences at school with other students and teachers, and how to juggle whatever it is. So they have to learn how to start to feed their own spirits with that positivity.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I want to also kind of go back to your Facebook group that you have in place. And so tell us a little bit about why you decided to do the Facebook group. What is the goal for those that are participating in the group?
Yeah, so Affirmation Nation has been in place now. It hasn't been long. It's been maybe a month. But what I really wanted to do was, first off, I feel like people kind of forget about Facebook. If you're in the business world and you're into the social media promotion and all that, it's all Instagram, maybe some TikTok, but Instagram, maybe LinkedIn. But you rarely hear people talk about Facebook. And for me, I love Facebook. I still use it all the time. So I said maybe it would be a good idea to create a group on Facebook. And not only, so in the group, we go through studying one affirmation a month for now. So last month what was last month? My body is healing. This month for August, we're going over I live a peaceful life. So you'll see different posts about what does peace look like. Um, I did a poll last week on where is your level of peace? Do you have it? I don't have any. I'm working on it. I have it. I want to keep it, which helps me, learn what to promote and push for the members. Um, I did a live yesterday on how to take your affirmations to the next level, talking about the I live a peaceful life. So we take one affirmation a month, post, engage. Today was Wellness Wednesday, so I challenged everybody to go outside and do some barefoot
Yeah,
walking.
I couldn't do that. By the time I got off, it was storming.
Maybe do it tomorrow, Sharon, if it's dried out a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, just to create peace in nature. So it's a lot of great things going on in the group. I mean, the group is growing. I send out the welcome post. I'm like, wow, we've had so many more people join us. So join the group. Join the group.
Yes, yes, yes. He's given us some great tips. I was listening to you last night, and then I did see your post today, and I was like, yeah, I love walking around. I used to do that all the time. I love walking, and so when I was young, I used to always walk outside barefoot. all the time. Like I didn't know what shoes were. When you was little, go out front and play and come back inside. It was no big deal. And it says it's good for your circulation,
Mm-hmm.
having your feet touching the ground. And one of the things that I have done also is as I walk, feeling your footsteps as you're walking can also take your mind off of other things that might be bothering you. It's a way
Yes.
to refocus yourself. So as as you're going through with your affirmations, just thinking about what you're positively doing, you can focus on like your actual walking or actual breathing, and that can take away those worries and help you to focus on your goals and the affirmations as you are going out to take that walk and being peaceful and healing within yourself.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And I'll say this too, real quick, Sharon, about that. People who know me, they're like, I can't believe you're like outside barefoot walking, because this has never been. But when we talk about manifestation, even being able to manifest how much I enjoy and appreciate nature, it has never been something that I enjoyed when I was younger. I'm a city girl. I don't like roughing it. I don't like the bugs, the heat, none of that. But when I
I
tell you,
completely understand.
I have found so much peace in nature, and just how much I enjoy it now and appreciate it.
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah.
It is. It is. I think as we get older and learn more about ourselves, we find that we are constantly growing and changing as we experience life. So definitely, yeah, I'm getting more connected with nature as well. But we want to also make sure that our attendees know that you you can apply affirmations to so much in your life. The healing, the self-care is all it's not just what the affirmations do, but it helps with that because it can give you peace of mind. Like we're saying that we're going to connect our affirmations to our finances. And if we are speaking positivity over our finances, then it's going to give us a peace of mind because we know that we're going to reach those goals, those levels that we want to reach. It could be that you want to give more than you've ever given before. You might want to be able to set up some type of legacy for your family, whether it's actual money or through investments, property. You might want to start a business. You might want to be able to volunteer more. You might want to be able to get a promotion, like April said, and move further in your career and leadership. So it's so much you can do to make your life change your life by creating affirmations. And so, April, all affirmations don't have to be something that somebody creates for themselves, because sometimes people can't think of what they need to say. They can use other types of affirmations to get themselves started. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Yep. You sure can. If you are someone who does not even know where to start, right? There are tons of affirmations out there that you can check out, but just pick something that applies to you, something, a statement that you know that you can use yourself to change or elevate or manifest the things that you desire.
Right. And so I was trying to think of like what book or something that a person can use. And the first thing that came to me was the Bible. Is you can always pull a scripture, and that will give you. Proverbs has so much in it that you can use. Psalms. There's so many scriptures that you can use, and that's what they're for, to help manifest things in your life. And if you're not of that faith, then you can find other things that are out there that are positive, that can help you to start you off, and then take those goals that you have and just make them into a statement and use those as well to do that affirmation as well. So
Yes, and
It,
I was going to say too, Sharon, also my book now. They can
oh
also,
yes,
so
you are. That's right, because you are a best-selling author. I forgot to mention that earlier during your
me too. Yeah,
introduction. Yes.
I forgot to mention it too. Yes, I'm an Amazon #1 best-selling author. And the name of the book is The Masterpiece of Mastering Peace. 15
All right.
positive affirmations that will change your life. So that's another resource right there. If you're looking for somewhere to start, it has affirmations in it about peace, nature, self-care, self-forgiveness, gratitude. So many great affirmations there. So that's another good place to start.
Yes. So let's say it again. What is the name of the book again?
It's The Masterpiece of Mastering Peace.
All right.
15 positive affirmations that will change your life.
All right. And they can get it off of Amazon.
Yes.
Okay, great. So then you have to get it on Audible so people can walk and listen to your book at the same time.
Coming real soon. Coming real
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Audible, so we can walk and listen to your book at the same time. So that is great. So I want to thank you, April, for joining me today with this great topic. Like I said, I love affirmations. I thank you for starting your business and being able to help people to grow, starting with affirmations so they can manifest their goals in their life through affirmations. And just again, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. I know you have a website. I know you're on Clubhouse and all the other things, but just a couple of them, if you don't mind sharing again, so people can
Yes.
get in touch with you.
So you can find me at April B on Facebook, or join the Affirmation Nation Facebook group. I'm checking messages all the time. Instagram is April B, which is one word, _ affirmations. And or you can email me, info@me-myself-family.com.
Great. Thank you so much, April. April, the Affirmation Activator, being with us today. I thank you again for joining me, and check her out on Clubhouse, Me, Myself, and Family on Clubhouse on Fridays. At what time do you have that? Is your Friday?
It's 3:30 p.m. EST.
Okay, 3:30 Eastern time. And that's where she does affirmations for entrepreneurs. And she has others. So if you are on Clubhouse, just hit, like they say, hit the green house at the top,
Yes.
or you can search for Me, Myself, and Family, and then join. And every time that she is on there, then you will be able to hear her, be part of that. And she also follow her on Clubhouse and other social medias so you can see what April is doing. Thank you so much again, April. I appreciate you and all that you're
Thank
doing.
you. Thanks for having me, Sharon.
Thank you. And so next month, I have planned on having discussion about Social Security. I've been hearing from some of my great followers, and they are like, Sharon, I want to know some more about Social Security. So I am planning on having, if not a speaker, we're going to have some discussions on Social Security, on what it's about, what it's not about, and what are some fears that people might have about Social Security and what they want to know. So that is our topic for the month of September. Thank you again, and everyone have a great evening.
Thanks, Sharon.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.